Yo, what's up? Z Karma here, back with another Cyberpunk video. Today, I have a really boring math video for you all, and this is regarding the crit damage and crit chance. I'm going to be explaining everything there is to know about it in this video. All of this information I'm about to share with you was done after about 20 hours of testing across multiple characters. So if you do enjoy this video or find this informative, a like rating is greatly appreciated, and if you want to subscribe for more content like this, that'll be awesome as well. So first off, to understand crit chance and crit damage, we first need to know exactly how the stats tab works, because the stats tab in regards to crit damage and crit chance is completely separate from your weapons card crit chance and crit damage. So anyways, in order to get these stats up for the weapon you're using, you need to have the weapon out. So I have this pistol out. So the stats are going to be for that pistol. So let's focus on crit chance and crit damage. So as you can see, it says that I have a 29% crit chance and the crit damage is 150. And just so you're aware that 150% is a multiplicative increase, so you would multiply your non-crit damage by 2.5 to give you the actual crit damage you're going to get. Anyway, you might ask, how did we get to this point? Well, first, you need to know the ways to increase the crit damage and crit chance on the stats page, because like I said, it differs from the weapon card. So to increase the crit chance and damage on the stat page, both of these can be increased with either the reflex or the cool attribute, depending on which stat we're talking about. Then both of them can be increased through skill progression rewards and through cyberware. So first, let's take a look at my crit chance. It's at 29. The base crit chance is 0%, just so you know that. And then I have 5% crit chance as a mod in the cyberware. In my handgun skill progression, we get a 5% increase to crit chance at level 7. In the cold blood skill progression, at level 2, we gain a 10% increase to the crit chance. And in total, that's a 20% increase. So, where's the remaining 9%? Well, that comes from the reflex attribute. As you can see, it says increases your crit chance by 1% per each point that you put on here. But that's not right. It's actually a little bit less than 1%. And I already tested this thoroughly. I actually spec'd all 20 points in here on a new character, and it was only giving me a 16% increase. So it's not exactly 1%. So basically what I'm saying is that the remaining 9%, I got it after 12 points into reflexes. And now let's take a look at the crit damage. How did I get to 150? Well, the base crit damage is 95%. Then I have a 5% increase to crit damage from the skill progression Cold Blood at level 14, and a 15% increase to crit damage with pistols in my handguns tree. So that's a total of 115 crit damage, so the remaining 35% actually comes from the cool attribute. And yes, you guessed it, each level won't increase your crit by 2%, like it says there. It actually only increases it by 1.75%. And again, I tested this on a fresh character, and each point was definitely not giving me a full 2%. So you actually, after 20 points, you only get a 35% increase to your crit damage. Anyway, there's one more thing that can increase both the crit chance and the crit damage, and that is clothing mods. However, you cannot stack clothing mods if they're the same clothing mod. So for example, I can equip this bully, but I cannot equip another bully here or in any other clothing because it's not going to give me the bonus of both. It's only going to give you the bonus of one, so don't waste your time or your money. Same with Fortuna, so if I apply another Fortuna here or elsewhere, it won't give me the bonus. And I already tested this, by the way. I, for example, got a bunch of bullies, like you see here, and I put one in each piece of clothing, and I looked at my damage on these enemies and just gathered a bunch of ranges, and they all fell within the same one, regardless of how many bully mods I had on my clothing. There's actually a ton of issues with clothing mods, which I will leave for a different video. Now back to the stats page. As you can see, both my crit damage and my crit chance went up. This one went up by 30% and this one went up by 15%, giving me 44 and 180. And there's that. Those are the ways to increase the crit damage and crit chances in the stat page. Now let's focus on the weapons. For the example, I'm going to be using this pistol since naturally it doesn't come with any increases to crit damage or crit chances. So as you can see down there in all the little stats, it only has physical damage, bonus ricochet, bleeding chance, and headshot multiplier. And like I said, in order for the proper stats to appear, you have to have it out as the weapon in your hands, just like at the stats page. So, just because right now you don't see any crit chance and crit damage on the weapon card itself, it still applies the ones in the stat page. So for example, that weapon only gets a 44% crit chance and a 180% crit damage. So now back to the pistol. How do you increase the crit damage and crit chance on the weapon itself? Well, that's very simple, with perks or weapon mods. So for example, we're going to apply a weapon mod here, and let's give it this 12% increase in crit damage. And just so you know, these actually stack. So, and I already tested it by the way, even on enemies themselves, looking at the numbers, I'm going to apply another 12%, and that should give me a 24% increase in crit damage to the pistol. As you see, it appeared down there in the stats part. Now, I said you can also increase these with perks. So we're going to go into our reflexes and handguns tree. And here you can see increases crit chance with pistols and revolvers by 4%. We're going to get all 3 points to give us a 12% increase. So now, if I look at the pistol, now it has a 12% crit chance as well. And then again, keep in mind, if you don't have the weapon out, you won't see that. So let me switch to another weapon, and then we're going to take a look. And as you can see, the crit chance disappeared. The crit damage is still there, but the reason is because it's actually on the weapon itself, not on one of the perks. And then if I switch back to this pistol, you'll see that the crit chance is back there. So now, notice how the crit chance and crit damage on the weapon card says plus 12% and plus 24%. Now, the reason why it says that is because it is going to be additive with what you see in the stat page. So as you see, the stat page has not changed at all, 44 and 180. That's because they are separate stats, like I said. So you just combine them on your own, 12% crit chance plus 44% crit chance. That's a 56% crit chance in total. So this pistol actually has a 56% crit chance. And for the crit damage, you take this 24% increase and just add it to 180. That means you get a bonus of 204% crit damage. And again, this is multiplicative, so you take your normal damage ranges that you do without any crits multiplied by 3.04. So I hope that made sense. Now I want to turn your attention to this revolver. As you see, my crit chance on this revolver is 100%. So there's actually no point to have the crit chance 100% on this weapon, because I already have 44% over here. So that's a 144% crit chance, which is not possible. I mean, 100% is a cap. If you have 100%, you're going to hit every single crit. So apply this to the actual game. So I'm going to switch to a different pistol. I'm going to switch to the Lizzie, for example. The Lizzie, when I have it out, it says I have a 41.97 crit chance. And if I go to the stats page, here it's 44. So adding those two up gives me around an 86% crit chance. So if I want to make it hit every single crit, I only need around 15% more crit chance. So there's literally no point to get 15% more crit on the Lizzie. If I can get 15% more crit on the Lizzie, every single shot is going to hit a crit. So for anyone who's skeptical of whether these stats are actually multiplicative with the stats page, I welcome you to test it out for yourselves. Because, let's go back to the revolver for example. If it was multiplicative with the stats page, then that 100% crit chance will only double this crit chance over here. So that would put me at an 88% crit chance. And if that were the case, then every single shot wouldn't be a crit. And crit, 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 crit. I mean, I can go for ages. I can shoot 1,000 times. Every single shot is going to be a crit. As you see, every single shot is a crit. You did see some numbers that weren't red at the top of the enemies, but that was just because it keeps showing you the addition of all the damages you're doing. So to summarize this video, for the stat page, crit chance and crit damage can be increased with cyberware, clothing mods, skill progression rewards, and attribute points in reflex or cool depending on what stat we're talking about. The weapon card's crit chance and crit damage can be increased with weapon mods and perks. And what you do with both values, you add the crit chance and crit damage to the crit chance and crit damage on your stats page. Just keep in mind, you do have to have the weapon out in order to see the proper stats on both your weapon and the stats page. But anyways guys, that's where I'm gonna end the video there. Next video is going to be on the clothing mods themselves. I'm gonna be showing all my testing that I briefly mentioned in this video regarding the clothing mods and them not stacking. Some of them don't even work. So if you're looking forward to that, don't forget to drop a sub on the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, a like rating is appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.